We continue to be a half step ahead of the virus. Our plans are coming together very nicely around how we fight the virus. Each day we get each day we get better. We're getting better. Our plans to ready our hospital system and ready the capacity in our system to deal with corona are stronger today than they were yesterday. And I want to begin, as I always do, with a huge thank you to everybody who's digging in and helping us protect Rhode Island. Today I'm announcing that we have 38 new cases of coronavirus here in the state of Rhode Island, bringing us to a total of 203 cases. And I will turn it over to Dr. Nicole Alexander Scott in a few minutes. I want to begin on a somewhat sober tone. It's Friday, it's a beautiful day, we're headed into the weekend. We've all been at this now for a few weeks. Even in my own house, everybody's getting a little chippy because we've all been cooped up for too long in the house. And it's only natural to be saying, do we still have to do this? Can we have a dinner party tomorrow night? Can my friends come over? Can we go to the park in a big group of people? The answer is no, 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 and no. You cannot have a dinner party of more than just a few people. You cannot go to the park in a large group of people. You cannot be in any crowd of more than 10 people or in close proximity to people, period, at any time this weekend or next week. I wish I had a different answer. I wish I had a better solution. Here's the brutal reality. We have been at this together as a community for a month. We had our first case March 1st. Since that time, we as a state have acted swiftly, aggressively, and intelligently based upon facts to meet the needs of the crisis. As a result, we only have 28 people in the hospital in Rhode Island right now on account of coronavirus. That's a great thing. You ought to be proud of yourselves for helping us to accomplish that. If we were to have an outbreak right now, similar to what you're seeing in New Orleans or New York City or elsewhere, we are not ready for that. We are not set up for that. I had a call this morning with all the hospital executives. They're doing a fantastic job, working as hard and as fast as they can to get ready. We are not ready for a surge of cases, which means that it's on us, every single one of us, at every single moment, to please obey the directives that you're getting from me and from the state and from the Department of Health. We can do this, we can beat this, we can get through this, we can do it safely, we can do it better than any state in America. But we have to hang in there right now. Give us just a little more time to get our systems set up before we see any kind of a surge in cases. So that means, please take note. If you're out at a park, if you're in a grocery store, if you're with your family, if you're at a dinner party, and you find yourself in close proximity to people, or in a group of more than 10 people, you're doing something wrong. I'm asking you to stop, pause, change, and get yourself some distance. In the past few weeks, I have signed a number of executive orders. It's at a dizzying pace, and I know it's been hard for people to keep track of when each of these regulations expires. We're getting lots of questions. You know, hey, Gov, is that one still in place? Is this one still in place? So bear with me, please, for a minute. I have spent last night reviewing all of our executive orders and all of our regulations, and I'd like to take a minute now to read through, in a systemic way, every one of our social distancing orders and tell you the new date that they're being extended to. I want to make a few notes. My approach from day one has been to be incremental. You notice in some other states, they've shut down school for the rest of the year. They've shut down restaurants for another month. I don't want to take that approach. I want to take this in as small bites as possible to keep everybody safe, to ready our system, but also to not completely devastate our economy and make sure we can maintain some semblance of a normal life in educating our kids. So to that end, I'm going to read through the extensions and how they apply on a case-by-case basis. The following orders are all extended until April 13th. Any gathering of more than 10 people is prohibited in the state of Rhode Island by law until April 13th. Please note that's in any venue, indoors or outdoors. Anyone who can work from home is required to do so until April 13th. And if you're a small employer, or if you're not tech-enabled, or if you're not used to doing this, please call 521-HELP. Commerce is doing a terrific job. We'll help you. We'll get you the technical assistance you need. We'll help you get the hardware. We'll get you the software. We'll teach you how to do it. Employers, please allow everyone who can to work from home. And for those folks who must come into the office, they cannot be sick. They must be screened so that they're not sick. They have to be allowed and enabled to wash their hands regularly, and they have to be given an ability to be in some social distance while they're at work. Restaurant dine-in. Restaurants, bars, cafes, coffee shops of any kind will be closed to dine-in service until April 13th. They will, however, be allowed to sell beer and wine with takeout orders until April 13th. I know that's a tough one. If you can order out, please do it. Please buy local. Please tip as big as you can and help these folks get us through this for at least the next couple weeks. Business closures. Public recreation and entertainment businesses, such as theaters, cinemas, bowling alleys, museums, zoos, and the like, as well as all close contact businesses, spas, hairdressers, nail salons, tattoo parlors, gyms, yoga studios, all ordered to stay closed until April 13th. I plan to extend the following orders until April 25th. With respect to domestic and international air travel, until April 25th, anyone returning to Rhode Island from a domestic or international flight must self-quarantine for 14 days. Special note to New York. Yesterday I announced New York. Anyone returning to Rhode Island after traveling from New York to Rhode Island by any mode of transportation, so that includes plane, train, automobile, bus, however you get here, must be in quarantine for 14 days. That's a law, that's an order, it comes with penalties, it's not a suggestion. I'd also like to remind people that we have members of the National Guard stationed every day, all day, at TF Green, at Amtrak train stations, at bus stops, collecting information from you when you get off of the plane so that we can put you in our contact tracing system, and you are hereby ordered into quarantine for 14 days. And I want to thank all the members of the National Guard for their outstanding work. General Chris Callahan is doing an outstanding job. He has been on the front line since day one. We have called up 1,000 reservists here in the state of Rhode Island. They are hard at work, truly on the front lines of this, and I can't thank you enough. The following orders will be extended until May 8th. The Open Meetings Act, I have suspended the Open Meetings Act until May 8th. With respect to telehealth, it is absolutely vital that during this crisis, everybody has access to the health care that they need and they deserve. It is accessible, it is affordable. That means everybody needs access to those services electronically or over the phone or over video conference, wherever possible. To that end, health insurers are being directed to cover telemedicine of all kinds, including telephonic only, for all specialties until May 8th. And you're ordered to do that such that the payments are the same for the telehealth as they would be for an in-person visit. Gun permits. I have extended the period for the background check from 7 days to 30 days. That will continue until May 8th. A few other particular notes. At this point, the casinos in Rhode Island will remain closed indefinitely until further notice. The State House is closed to visitors indefinitely until further notice. Nursing homes and hospitals are not allowed to have any visitors whatsoever until further notice. I'd like to make a special note and a special thank you to nursing home employees and nursing home people who are there, residents and their families. It is nothing short of extraordinary that we in Rhode Island have not seen an outbreak in our nursing homes. That's because of you. That's because of the administrators and the nurses and the CNAs and everybody on the front lines being vigilant in enforcing the no visitor policy and in allowing healthcare workers who are not feeling well to stay home and to be paid sick leave while they're home. You deserve huge credit. Please keep it up. It's going to get harder. It's going to get harder. I have not seen my own mother in weeks. It's really, really hard. You have to do it. It is because we love our moms and dads and family members that we're doing this. And someday it won't be like that, but I need you to hang in there a little longer and be as vigilant as ever. No visitors, period, ever of any kind for anyone in nursing homes and hospitals. With respect to the state, all customer services from DHS, Department of Labor and Training, the Health Exchange, the DMV, will remain online only until further notice. The DMV is open by appointment only. Again, thank you to those of you who work on my team to have enabled that. It's nothing short of a miracle that in the space of a week we have taken all of those operations and turned them to be online only or reservation only. Fantastic job, and I appreciate the cooperation. Special notice about schools. Everybody wants to know about schools, especially including my own children. I'm going to make a special announcement on Monday with respect to K through 12 public schools in the state of Rhode Island. So on Monday, I will have an announcement around how we're going to deal with the rest of the school year here in Rhode Island. I will say right now, I am so proud of you for the way you've handled the distance learning. And I mean that. It's incredible. We are the only state in the country doing this, and you're doing a great job. In a week, we have figured out how to provide distance learning to over 140,000 school children. We decided as a community we weren't going to throw in the towel. We weren't just going to throw our hands up and say school's canceled. At the time we said that, we weren't really sure if we could do it or exactly how we would do it. And God bless every school teacher who's working extra hard, every teacher's aide, every parent who is at times pulling their hair out because their kids are home and need a little bit of extra help and this is difficult, and every student who is working around the clock to make this happen. You guys are doing it. Attendance rates are up. Students are completing their assignments. Now, I'm not saying this isn't glitch-free. It is full of glitches, and I'm aware of that. We're working every day to get a little bit better at it. But to all of you who've really put your shoulder into this and been innovative, I want to say thank you. We're absolutely getting better. We're learning how to do it better, especially for kids with special needs. We want to continue to engage not just teachers, but guidance counselors and coaches and teachers' assistants and therapists to make sure we stay in touch with these kids. So on Monday, I'll be making an announcement about school, but for now, as we end our first week, hats off to everybody. It's going better than I could have ever hoped, and I'm grateful for it. Okay, I need to make special announcement about New York travelers. And this is, I'm going to pause for a minute because this is extremely important. As we go forward in the coming weeks and months, the way we fight this virus is going to change a little. Right now, the way we have been fighting it has been a very broad response, shutting down all restaurants, all bars, much of the economy, all close and contact businesses. Obviously, that's not sustainable. We can't survive if we have no economy indefinitely, or even for a lengthy period of time. So, to give you a view into how I'm thinking about this, and this is in constant consultation with public health experts, experts from all around the world, actually, the way we need to move our response is to be more pinpointed. We need to, and that means more testing, a greater focus on populations such as older folks that have a higher risk, and a real focus on people who we know have the virus or who've been exposed to the virus. Over time, we're going to get better at pinpointing, and we're going to get actually more serious about how we enforce these rules around pinpointed populations so that we can ease some of the restrictions on everybody else. I can't do that right now because we're not ready yet. We're not ready yet. As I said, I need to be doing 1,000 tests a day. Our hospitals have to be more readied. We have to have better infrastructure. But that's where we're trying to get. Right now, we have a pinpointed risk that we need to address, and we need to be very serious. And that risk is called New York City. Tens of thousands of people, the majority of cases of coronavirus in America are in the New York metro area. That is it's less than a couple hundred miles from where I'm standing right now. In light of that risk, and in light of the fact that folks from New York present a different kind of danger to the people of Rhode Island, we're going to take a more aggressive, pinpointed approach for the foreseeable future as it relates to people coming to Rhode Island from New York. By the way, this is in line with guidance from the White House and the CDC and experts. Yesterday I announced, and today I reiterated, anyone coming to Rhode Island in any way from New York must be quarantined. By order, will be enforceable by law. Starting today at noon, state police are monitoring our highways. They're at the base of the Newport Bridge. They're on the side roads in Westerly, and they will be pulling you over if they see that you have New York plates and asking you for your contact information and ordering you into quarantine if you plan to stay in Rhode Island. And that could be in a hotel, that could be a rental property, that could be your own summer home. Starting tomorrow, the National Guard will be working with local law enforcement, going door to door in our coastal communities, asking people if they've come from New York and asking them for their contact information. Obviously, we will be doing our best to target those homes where we know people are likely to have come from New York. We have a pretty good sense of which are rental properties, which are second home properties, and we will be knocking on the door and asking folks for their contact information, providing them with the order that they must remain in quarantine for 14 days if they've come from New York State. In addition, all hotels, renters, and rental companies will be notified of this quarantine order in writing, and we're asking you to provide that guidance to all of your renters. I know this is unusual, I know it's extreme, and I know some people don't agree with it. And it's absolutely not a decision that I make lightly. I've consulted lawyers, I've consulted local law enforcement, and I've been hearing from a lot of people in the community. I wouldn't do it if I didn't think it were necessary. So we're not shutting down our borders per se, but what we're saying is, if you want to seek refuge in Rhode Island, you must be quarantined, in quarantine for 14 days, and we, the people of Rhode Island, plan to enforce that. On a lighter note, I have some good news about SNAP benefits. Today I can announce a bit of relief. Thanks to the great work of Courtney Hawkins, we've gotten approval from the federal government to distribute additional SNAP benefits to about half of people who are SNAP eligible in Rhode Island for so long as we're in a state of emergency. Eligible households will start receiving additional SNAP dollars on April 1st, and through our best guess, we think that the increase will benefit about half of all families who receive SNAP. The average size of the additional amount of money that you can expect to see on April 1st on your EBT card is $140, but the precise amount will vary, and you can visit DHS's website for more information. So that's a little bit of relief. April 1st, we think about half of the folks who are on SNAP ought to see about $140 extra on your EBT card. It's something to help you and your families get through this incredibly difficult time. We're also delaying the recertification deadline for some families who receive SNAP or cash assistance. If you were due to reapply in March or April, we're giving you a 6-month extension to ensure that you continue to have access to benefits during this critical time. So as you know, typically we require you to be recertified on a monthly basis. We are getting rid of that requirement for the next couple of months. So again, you can breathe a sigh of relief. You don't have to get recertified. Your benefits will continue. I will say, I think everybody needs a little relief right now. So in general, what I'm trying to do is balance all of the new restrictions and requirements with certain ways that we can take a few things off of your to-do list so you can breathe a bit easier and then focus on everything else that we have going on. 2 more quick things. I want to make a note about Rhode Island Responds. You might say to me, Governor, what's the most common question you're receiving? The most common question isn't, how long is this going to last? The most common question has been, how can I help? What can I do? In dealing with the ups and downs, the daily ups and downs of this crisis, I have taken heart in that. Most people are saying, we're going to do this, and how can I help? So to all of the small businesses and large businesses who have donated, thank you. To all of the tech companies that are volunteering your services to help out our small businesses, thank you. To those of you who are volunteering, I want to say thank you. To the many companies and individuals who've donated over $5 million to our recovery fund in the last week, thank you. To all the folks who've already signed up on care.com to be volunteer babysitters or elder care sitters, thank you. To all the state employees who are still working because you have to, and you're doing it with grace and with patience, thank you. To my own team, who's closest to me, who's working 20 hours a week, 20 hours a day, 7 days a week, thank you. And to everyone who's out there, I want to say thank you. This is a marathon. I wish it were a sprint. I wish it would be over in a week. It's not. It's a marathon, so we have to hang in there together. Since you've been so great at volunteering, I have one more ask. Today, specifically, I'm calling on trained medical and behavioral health personnel who are not currently working full-time to sign up as volunteers. I'm asking you to do this by visiting www.rhodeislandresponds.org. rhodeislandresponds.org. If you're out there and you're hearing me and you're a retired nurse, a retired social worker, a retired doctor, a part-time nurse, CNA, social worker, doctor, medical professional of any kind, we're calling you up. We need you. We need to prepare for the surge. Preparing for the surge isn't just ventilators, beds, and masks. It's people. It's people power. We need you. We need to get you signed up. We need some of you to volunteer, and we need to get you trained. So if you're out there and you can help us, please visit riresponds.org.